pentagrams, goats, and gardens. Join us today as we look at 5 symbols hidden in devil mythology. Number 5, the inverted pentagram. At first glance, this may look like your typical pentagram. After all, it is just 5 points connected by 5 lines. But there's something different about this one, something that screams evil and sends chills down your spine. And you might be surprised to know that the key difference between this and a regular pentagram could change its meaning completely. Take a closer look. See how the pentagram is usually drawn with one point facing up, symbolizing the connection between earth and heaven, unity and duality, or even life, death, and rebirth. This particular pentagram has been turned upside down, making a world of difference in its interpretation. Now, the tip of the star points downwards, no longer representing connection and unity, but rather disconnection, separation, and chaos. This inverted pentagram can symbolize rebellion against the divine order, anti-Christian sentiment, and most notably, the occult, magic, and witchcraft. In fact, the inverted pentagram became such a prominent symbol of Satanism that in 1967, Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan, declared it as their symbol in his book, The Satanic Bible. And since then, it has been associated with the religion ever since, even though Satanists themselves don't actually use it very much anymore. And if you look around, it's not hard to find examples of the inverted pentagram popping up in movies, video games, music, and tattoos. It really seems like we can't escape this symbol of darkness. But before you judge anyone who happens to have an upside-down pentagram tattoo, remember that they probably didn't invent the symbol. Instead, they chose a symbol that was already created long before they were born and already had its own meaning and history. If you want to avoid unintended symbolism, stick to whatever the trendy new symbol is, because things change fast in the world of tattoos. And we hope you'll stick around to the end of the video where we'll show you what the least trendy new symbol is. Let us know in the comments below if you got it right. Number 4, the mark of the beast. You might recognize these letters, 666, as the number of the beast from the Christian book of Revelation. While the full passage goes into more detail, saying that the beast will be given a number, one whose name has a number, and the number of the beast is 6666. Most Christians believe that the beast of Revelation is the Antichrist, so naturally its number would be associated with Satan. However, the origin of the number is actually disputed. Some say it was derived from the Roman Emperor Nero, who had the nickname of Little King, or that it was based on the name Caesar Augustus Germanicus, who was called the first beast and was the first Roman emperor after Christ. There is even a theory that it came from the Hebrew word for sorrow. But one thing is for sure, the origins of 666 are not satanic. Regardless, people still associate 666 with the devil, especially since it is also considered a cursed number. It has 3 sets of double sixes, and every culture around the world considers 6 to be an unlucky number. On top of all this, there is a morbid fascination with the number 666, which stems from the idea that anything related to the devil is inherently interesting to humans. We love learning about what we should fear, maybe because our curiosity about death means we never stop searching for ways to cheat it. So when you see 6666, remember that while it may be linked to Satan, the number itself isn't inherently evil. Number 3, the goat of Mendes. For centuries, the image of a goat with the head of a human has been a controversial one. The image dates back thousands of years to the time of the ancient Egyptians. They associated the hybrid creature with fertility and called it Mendes, or Ammon, which is where we get the word for Monday. But later, it took on more sinister connotations. When Christianity spread through the Roman Empire, many pagan symbols were twisted or taken over. The followers of Christ saw the goat as a representation of Satan himself, and it became known as Baphomet. The supposed face of Baphomet was said to be a combination of a man and a woman, representing both good and evil, but it was mostly seen as evil. As such, the goat became a symbol of temptation and sin. One legend said that the goat of Mendes was the son of a mortal man and an immortal goddess, which made him immortal as well. And so he lived in the desert where he would appear to travelers and tempt them into doing evil deeds. And another legend claimed that the goat of Mendes was the result of Lucifer impregnating a woman, which would make it a direct descendant of Satan himself. Since then, it has become a symbol of Satanism and even modern Wicca. And you may have seen a similar-looking image in the cartoon South Park. That is a crude drawing of the goat of Mendes. Number 2, the black sun. Black suns seem to have appeared out of nowhere in recent years. If you go onto Instagram, you can find tons of images of black suns, but they haven't always been around. In fact, the origin of the symbol is a little sketchy, since nobody knows who invented it or why. Some claim that the mysterious symbol represents paganism, or even Nazism, while others say that it is simply an artistic take on the sun, since the sun is a celestial body and space is black. But whatever its true meaning is, it has a few things in common with the devil. First of all, the color black is often associated with darkness, evil, and everything scary, while the sun is usually white, yellow, or even red. The combination of the two makes for an unsettling symbol that looks like it came from some kind of nightmare. And since people link the devil to the underworld, darkness, and hell, it fits right in with the rest of the imagery used to represent him. But that doesn't mean everyone sees it as an evil symbol. Some people think it's cool and edgy. And hey, what do you expect? The whole point of the black sun is to be mysterious and ambiguous. And if there is any meaning behind it, then it is up to you to decide what it is. After all, the phrase "everything is Satan" was popularized by heavy metal bands in the 80s, and now people wear it as a fashion statement. So when it comes to the black sun, whether or not it is an evil symbol depends on the beholder. 1. The serpent in the garden. We couldn't make this list without mentioning the snake. After all, it is the reason that the devil is sometimes known as the old serpent. In the Christian faith, the story goes that Adam and Eve were tempted to eat from the tree of knowledge by a talking snake, which led them to be kicked out of the Garden of Eden. The snake tricked them by distorting God's message and promising them wisdom if they ate the fruit. However, instead of becoming wise, they only found shame. And the serpent was punished by being cursed to crawl on its belly for the rest of its life. Now snakes are often seen as sneaky and evil, which is why the serpent in the garden has become a symbol of the devil. It also doesn't help that snakes are also associated with cults and witchcraft. According to legend, poisonous snakes were kept as pets by witches and they would use them to put curses on their enemies. However, the snake has other associations as well. It is also associated with healing, rebirth, death, immortality, and even enlightenment. For example, the rod of Asclepius, which is used to represent doctors and hospitals, is a staff wrapped by a single snake. To this day, snakes are seen as both dangerous and healing, and the serpent has become a symbol of medicine because of its dual nature. But there's nothing quite like the symbolism of the snake in the garden. And when you see a snake slithering in the grass, you might be reminded of the story of Adam and Eve. We hope you enjoyed learning about these symbols, and if you did, let us know in the comments below if you think they are truly symbols of Satan. We'll see you next time.